All right, I played a game recently with my wife, who I did not think would like this game. We started playing Blitz Bowl by Games Workshop. So this is the simplified version of Blood Bowl, which I've always wanted to get into. I don't know why, but for the past like 2 years, I've looked at Blood Bowl and I see its draw, and it looks big and beautiful and just great miniatures, and that idea of a sports game in board game format just sounded great. And I was even attracted to the idea of how complicated the game was, how there's like stat tables that you have to look at, and there's all this risk that you have to take, and it's just kind of all over the place and sloppy. It seems like it's just kind of this old style of designing games, and that's kind of what attracted me to it. But then I also heard games are super long, and you really have to have a dedicated place or dedicated people to play it with to actually make it worth it, and not just play every once in a while. So that's why I've been going back and forth. But then Blitz Bowl came out, and I heard that it is a different game, but it's kind of made for the exact situation I was looking for, where I could play in an evening with my wife. Games take about 45 minutes to an hour, and it's a game that she actually likes, and this is not her kind of game. What it is ultimately is the board is the field or the pitch, and you have 5 or 6 players on your team, and they all have different stats and abilities, and these are represented on cards on your side of the table. So you can get other teams with different card sets, but then each player on your turn, you get 3 actions, and you can kind of choose what you want to do. And the miniatures, the players can do different things depending on their status. If they're knocked down, they have to stand up. If they're standing up, if they are stood up, but they aren't by anyone, if they're free, they can run, they can pass, they can do all these things. But if they're next to an opponent and they are marked, and they can only do a few things, they can only like step away, or they can try and block, and that's where you're tackling and things like that. Now, to block someone with tackles, you roll a dice or 2 depending on your character, and depending on what rolls is what the result is on the tackle. Either you tackle them and you can't do any more actions, you tackle them and you can do more actions, you just kind of push them away a space, or you miss, something like that. And so there is still that kind of risk reward to this, but I just love how everything is simplified. And so you're just trying to get points by getting the football into an end zone, or the main way to get points is actually objectives that come out, and these are represented by cards. And these objectives kind of vary from completing a pass, making a touchdown, having 3 people within one space of your opponent's end zone, or just other things like that kind of reflect the state of the board at that moment. And when you collect those cards also give you special abilities, one-time abilities that you can play, just like playing cards. Not like playing cards, but like they're cards you can play to give you a special ability for that action. So it's this really interesting back and forth, and it's extremely tactical. You are always responding to what's happening on the board, and it's not an easy game to get a touchdown. Like you really have to kind of think through it, and it can be very frustrating if the dice aren't rolling your way, or it can be really fun if they are, but there's a mix of that luck in it as well. But this game really exceeds my expectations. I was excited to play it. I knew it would kind of be what I was looking for from Blood Bowl. I don't think I want to play Blood Bowl anymore, because this kind of fits that niche. I don't think I'd want to play this for another hour and a half, or even another hour, even if it is different mechanics. But it was super fun. Now, is this a game that either of you have played or seen played around you?
Yeah, it's actually really popular at my store. Our manager Trent is a huge Warhammer fan, and he's always like, "Hey, you have to play all these games," and I'm like, "Does it have minis that I have to paint?" No, thank
Nah.
you.
Yeah.
But that
Yeah.
sounded really fun. I should
It
actually
is.
sit
It's
down.
great. And really, like, it's simple. And I've never painted a miniature in my life, and I have a ton of games with miniatures. Like, I'm not a miniature gamer. The only Games Workshop games I have I have Blitz Bowl, and I have Space Hulk. But those, I'm not going to paint those. I got those for the gameplay. I would love to paint them. That sounds great. I'd rather just spend that time playing games personally. But I totally get how relaxing that would be to paint those miniatures. Now, this game I thought was a Barnes Noble exclusive. Is that not true?
Blitz Bowl?
Yeah.
No, I have it at my store.
Really?
Yeah,
Bunch of jerks at my game store. I called them like, no, that's a Barnes & Noble exclusive.
sir.
So
Might
I
be
had
a
to go to Barnes &
Utah
Noble to
thing,
find
man.
it. Oh, I wonder if it's a Utah thing. That's a weird thing to be just Utah, though.
Right?
That is a shame that you can't get it because at Level Up we offer 15% off of all of our games, including Warhammer. So
Bam.
that's like a little jab at you. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. We deserve it for
You need-
stupid ideas
you
like
need
Barnes &
more
Noble
reasons.
exclusives.
Yeah, you need more reasons to move to Minnesota. That's the truth of it.
That's like my mecca. Like, I'm just going to go there one day.
Bring the
Walk
family.
around Fantasy Flight 7 times. Do you have expansion teams for Blood Bowl? Or, yeah, for Blitz Bowl? Or is it just Blood Bowl expansions? Do you know anything about that?
I know that we have like the core box I've seen in the store, and we can
Mhm.
always order anything else because we get it shipped directly from the UK. It might take like a week to get to us, but yeah, that's definitely something you can order from us.
That's cool. Yeah, this game I definitely would love to grab a couple more teams for variety. It comes with cards for other teams, but not like a full set. I don't know. I'm actually a bit confused how the expansions work for this game. I think people who are more knowledgeable about Games Workshop and how they work, it would make more sense for them. Because I know like the teams that are in Blood Bowl work for Blitz Bowl if you have the right cards or something. Honestly, I haven't looked into it that much. I was just excited to play these. But it's great. Now, is this one that you'd want to play, Ryan?
No, because I
Why?
have Guild Ball.
I've heard good things
yeah.
about Guild Ball.
Yeah, I've heard Guild Ball. So this looks like to be more of a tile. So as I'm looking at the board, it's more of like the tile-based type of movement, while Guild Ball is much more your standard Warhammer, taking a ruler out, moving X amount of inches, and it's more freeformed. It's more, it isn't
that's-
gridded off. So
Yeah.
that's what that's what I'm probably going to try first before getting into Blitz Bowl. Now, it isn't to say that, again, if someone were to have it and ask me if I wanted to play it, absolutely. Like, I'm not going to turn something like that down, especially, like, and I'm not lying. There have been games that we've talked about in the past episodes that I've never played, and when they always come up in conversation or they're available, I absolutely try to jump on them because I want to be able to see if I can kind of mimic your type of experience with what you've done in that game. But in this case, Guild Ball is my jam right now, so
Yeah.
that would probably be more. It would be interesting to play Guild Ball, then play Blitz Ball, and see which one and compare.
Yeah.
But I mean, who knows if that'll ever happen? It
Yeah,
won't.
that's true. That's true. I think one benefit for this one too is cost of entry. I think it's between like $30 and $40, which is completely worth it for what you get. So yeah, it's fun. I recommend it, but I do want to try Guild Ball because that freeform movement sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they've gotten a bad rap. But Steamforged Limited, right? Steamforge, who did Dark Souls, they've gotten a bad rap for their Dark Souls campaign, and basically their whole shtick is to take IPs and from video games like Resident Evil and what's their new one? Oh, Horizon, right? I think they're also doing Horizon. And make them into board games, and I know people have been pooping on them because of what happened with Dark Souls, but I mean, their quality when it comes to their miniatures and their games like are pretty good. I hopefully that doesn't, like, just because of what happened with Dark Souls doesn't mean that company should receive a bad rap for something else, is what I'm trying to
That's
get
true.
at, I think.
Yeah,
But-
that makes sense. That's cool. That's Blitz Bowl. Oh, it's designed by James Hewitt and published by Games Workshop.
Yay.
Who I think James Hewitt did the original Blood Bowl. Man, I feel like I just made that up. I don't know. Fact check me, internet. I have no idea.
I'll
To the
find
Google
out.
machine.
To the Google machine.
No.
Oh,
He
yep.
did Blood Bowl 2016 edition.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sweet.
He did the Hellboy the board game.
Oh,
The one
Oh,
that was
the
on
new one?
Kickstarter. Yep.
Nice.
And also Warhammer Quest Silver Tower.
ooh.
Yep.
That is
All
very
right.
prestigious credentials there.
Yeah.
This boy knows what he's doing.
Exactly.